All right, what's going on? This is your boy AJ, and we're back with the best of pro wrestling and sports and pro wrestling either way. Y'all, you just got to come here for the best of both worlds because you don't get it better anywhere else. At least you probably shouldn't, but either way, we'll fix that even if that is the case. But yeah, definitely some interesting things going on. Honestly, a lot of this stuff I probably could have got on yesterday to talk about, but better late than never, I guess is the best way to look at that. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get started on things here, and this is actually going to be really, really interesting given the things that we've had to talk about over the last week or so, and that pertains to one Mr. R Truth. It turns out that TNA has actually shown interest in bringing him back to the company after, gosh, I think it's been almost actually a full 2 decades. He was with TNA from somewhere around, I'm thinking 01, 02 up to about 06 or 07, which was when he returned to WWE. But yeah, former TNA champion. I mean, I wouldn't mind actually seeing him in a situation where he wins it again at some point. I mean, would he be the one that would take it off of Trick Williams? I don't necessarily know about that, but he definitely deserves a good title run, as I feel like it would be something of a last two Raw. And that would be the case regardless of where he goes. It could be TNA, it could be AEW. It really wouldn't matter. Even though he doesn't look it, he is 53, and of course, I can't imagine that he's looking to wrestle too much longer after this. I mean, does he even really have to at this point? I certainly appreciate anything and everything that he does as far as his work is concerned. I mean, it all speaks for itself if you've been watching WWE for the last 2.5 decades. I mean, you just you don't get too much better than this guy, and it's bad enough that we're talking about him possibly signing somewhere else, but at least there seems to be something of a landing spot. Nothing definitive yet, but I would like to think this would be a good thing. It wouldn't be bad if he went to AEW, but just as well, it's probably even better that he's with TNA. I mean, AEW's definitely got some great things going. I don't know. Maybe one day we see it. I don't really know. I'm not going to say yes or no on that, but at the very least, if TNA is on the table, that's even all the better because there's more of a familiarity in terms of the fan base and, of course, the history, going back to his previous stint there. So hopefully, this is something that we're going to see soon, and, well, really and truly, hopefully, we just find out sooner than later about that. That being said, something that we may be finding out sooner or later is pretty much what's going to be happening with one Karrion Kross. This one's actually a little bizarre to me because, if I'm being perfectly honest, I feel like this dude, there's no reason that he shouldn't be a top heel on either Raw or SmackDown right now, just in WWE in general. Yet his contract is up sometime this year. I don't know the exact date or anything like that, but apparently it is coming up. Nothing has been said as far as an offer. I can understand truth in terms of he is 53. You only want to pay someone like that, but so much money. But he actually, from what I understand, has actually been a top merch draw. And more than anything else, and that's being truth, more than anything else, I'm pretty sure we all thought that Karrion was a Triple H guy. Certainly seemed to have been the case, especially before, Trips had that situation with his heart and everything. God bless him and everything. Hopefully, all of that ends up working out for him and he's continuing to be healthy, which we kind of got to talk a little bit about. Well, maybe not about that, but about Triple H here in a bit, not to spoil any details of the main topic. But I can't see any reason why you don't keep this guy around. Like, that would be, to me, easily the biggest fail that WWE could have. And I hate to say it, but 2025 has kind of been a fail year for WWE when you actually get to looking at it. I mean, there have definitely been some significant successes, don't get me wrong. But in terms of just certain ongoings, especially with the R-Truth departure, I it's hard for me to believe that too many people are very, very happy with WWE. And that's without getting into the stupid ass ticket prices for the events that they've been having. Don't get me started on WrestleMania. Especially just the fact that, well, you know what, I'm going to leave that out for the moment anyway. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about a guy that should actually be a WrestleMania headliner at some point. I don't see any reason why that isn't the case. Like, for me, I'm wanting to pencil him in as a future Royal Rumble winner, but that's not something I can do convincingly for the fact that this is even a conversation right now. And to make matters worse, who else is there if this is someone that they're going to look at getting rid of? Hopefully that's not the case. Time can only tell, I guess. And speaking of time can only tell, here's one that I find really, really wild, and I did kind of spoil this before, but we are talking about Triple H here. I've seen some stuff coming around recently to where there seems to be some speculation going around, specifically with Jonathan Coachman and I guess Vince Russo on their little podcast, whatever that's called. I don't really follow it. I don't care to follow anything pertaining to Jonathan Coachman, so that's just all that you need to know where that's concerned. But it is important to point out that there are reports going around between a few different outlets that Triple H could also, ironically enough, be on his way out. Now, oddly enough, and this is something I don't know for a fact, and I'm going to make sure that I clarify this very strongly so that everybody understands this. I am not a reporter, okay? I'm just someone that's here talking his shit, and I feel like doing a fine job at that. But all the same, you know, I'm just merely reacting to a lot of the things that I hear and see going on with this. And for me, I gotta say, it's actually rather concerning if this actually is the case. I don't know how or why it would be. And even more so for the fact that I'm hearing things about, I'm not sure if it's TKO or Endeavor, but one of the two seem to be in debt somehow. Which, don't ask me anything on that. That's just something that I hear. I don't know that to be true, but that seems to be word that's going around. Hence perhaps the reason for a lot of these departures / releases. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as saying that's actually what's going on. That's just something that I'm hearing right now. Do not hold me to that because I do not know. I don't necessarily believe that, nor do I necessarily believe that Triple H is going anywhere. I'm sure a lot of people would be particularly happy about that, but here's the thing about that. Let's say that actually does happen hypothetically here, right? So, I guess you got maybe, I don't know, maybe Shawn Michaels or Bruce Pritchard, I guess? Really? Bruce Pritchard? Like, no. Alright, you know what? Let's just say this. The point I'm trying to make here is that even if and when this were to happen, the options behind that aren't great. And at this point, you're basically in a situation where this is actually leading toward some significant disaster if you're WWE, should this be true. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure that isn't even the case already. Depends on who you ask. That's all I'm going to say on that. The only other thing I will say on this, however, is it's just wild because apparently people are trying to put some momentum behind a hashtag of bring Vince back to WWE or some dumb shit like that. Are you fucking serious? Do you need to be fucking slapped, whoever you are? And that's really all I want to say about that. And I'm leaving it all there because, yeah, wild fucking shit. Again, I don't know this necessarily to be the case, but I had to talk about this because even for as wild as things have been this year, this of all things in particular, being a thing in terms of Triple H leaving WWE, is just preposterous. And to be perfectly honest with you, even for as shaky as shit may be right now, I hope that's not the case. But either way, that's all I got on that. Y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. Shout out to everybody coming through on the views, likes, whatever the case may be. Keep that going. Again, y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe down below. Let me know what y'all think. This has been your time with A&J, and I certainly appreciate you spending it with me.